Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, the habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, Cesar Espino. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. It is your host, Cesar Espino, and today I have a special guest. His name is Pascal Bachmann. Hey, Pascal, how are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to have you here. Before we dive in, I want to give our listeners and viewers a little bit of your background. Over the last 25 years, Pascal has coached more than 20,000 people, built 7 businesses in 3 different industries, and generated more than 20 million. Pascal is an international speaker, author, life and business strategist who empowers and coaches businessmen to healthy and successful leaders in business and life. That's awesome, Pascal. You definitely have done a lot in your life, right? Take me back though. Take me back to where you're originally from and how was your upbringing?
Sure. I'm from Switzerland. I grew up in Switzerland in a family that didn't work out the way most children wish it would be, for just as for so many others. But I made my way, and I found interest in martial arts pretty early. I guess kind of to prove myself, to get or to be accepted. You just search for the things that you feel like you don't get from home. And so I made my way in martial arts, put pretty much all my life in there. First Taekwondo, then Muay Thai, Kung Fu, and like all those things. And this is where I actually started to change my mindset according to life. I started to have respect. I started to appreciate things. For example, my body, my surroundings, just everything I had kind of. And with that, I started to work when I was like 17, 18. And the rebel, I guess you call it in English, that I was, is like, I can't do that. The first day, I remember the first day when I was working for a company, I felt like this is not for me. I need to work for myself. So those 2 things, the work world, feeling that I need to have something for myself, and martial arts were the 2 things that I absolutely love to do, live my passion since I was 16, 17, pretty much every day until today. I focus on what I love to do, and I do what I love. And that was sales, work for myself, martial arts, sport. And with that, of course, all the health stuff came, like nutrition and, all that stuff that just comes with these 2 things.
Yeah. One thing that you said that's kind of interesting is, the idea of getting into martial arts because you wanted to, again, kind of find that acceptance, right? And you're right. A lot of times as we're growing up, we tend to, if we don't get the acceptance or we feel like we don't fit in, whether it's in school or different aspects of our lives, we tend to find something else to where we can be accepted, right? And I know I had other people in the show, and sometimes they talk about, they go into gangs or they go into different things that are not helping. In your case, obviously, martial arts is something I've never done myself, except I know that it's a pretty good sports to an extent. And with that, you also, as you mentioned, the mindset and the discipline. So I want to tap into those two things. And I think the mindset is one of the things that are so critical in our lives, even for you being successful and being able to build this many businesses and come up with this much, generate this much money. A lot of it has to do with that mindset and that discipline. And so besides just doing the martial arts, how do you work on your discipline and also the discipline of your mind?
Good question. Yeah, definitely 100%, because like what you just mentioned, a lot of your guests, they go into gangs and stuff. That was actually the reason for me to go into martial arts. I did all those things. I deal with drugs. I had fights. I broke in stores. I did pretty much everything you shouldn't do, had problems with the law. And I just like was that guy out there who tries to prove himself, who tried to get the acceptance, and this is how I lived. And then that one day, I remember I was into like all these Bruce Lee movies and stuff, and I was just fascinated and felt like, okay. And I started to use those things in my street fights, and until I was at the point where someone introduced me, a good friend back then, into martial arts. It was Taekwondo back then. And the master there, he was world champion. He was in Vietnam. He was like just an impressive person for me. And when I started to go there, I just felt like this is something that gives me what I needed at this time. I just wanted to get better. But during that phase, going every single day and train, I started to develop that discipline for something that I'm passionate about. I had discipline for all the stuff that I shouldn't do, just because I did those things, and I felt like this is something that brings me forward. But the shift of doing something every single day, regularly, and have the discipline to go there, to surround myself with like-minded people who had the same goal, the desire to get better in what I do, kind of triggered me in a way that I realized my mind is changing. And like the word said, mindset, set your mind to something. And this is what I did. My mind was set to become a better martial artist. And it's just like you do it what you do in one thing, you do or how you do one thing, you do everything. I think
Right.
you call it here in the US. And this is just what I realized, because I was so obsessed of getting better and work myself up, going regularly, doing my thing with that one goal, that kind of mindset went over into all areas of my life without me even realizing it. I just started to be more disciplined, to be sharper in everything that I do. With my friends, I left all my friends. I remember very clear the last time I decided to steal. I had long hairs, I had like the gang look, and I decided, okay, the last time, food and clothes, I go get my stuff. And actually they catch me back then, but that was another story. But after that, I decided from today on, it's completely finished. And I realized with 16 or 17, I need to change everything. Like my friends, I turned my back to all my friends back then, because I knew they are a bad influence for myself. And if I keep hanging out with them, I'm not going to make it. So I cut my hair, dressed myself differently, went into different environments, surrounded myself with different people, and decided very consciously, with a lot of discipline, to just change my life in all areas. And I'm very sure that came with martial arts. That was the start of me actually changing.
Yeah, it's interesting how, the idea of you're really you're really away from just one decision, one choice to change your entire life life. And although it may not seem at that moment, that decision, that choice that you make today will determine the quality of life that you have tomorrow. And that's kind of what you did, right? Like, again, you decided that I'm no longer going to be this figure, this identity, this person, whatever that might be. And with that, even in going to the point of cutting your hair and obviously turning your back on friends and all that stuff, it was something that you needed to do to be able to become the new identity that was going to be the future you, which led to more of the things that you're doing now, long term. Talking about when you started working for somebody, what was that trigger that said, you know what, yeah, maybe it's okay working for somebody, except it would be much better if I do it for myself? Where did that trigger come into play? That idea of, I need to be my own boss, I need to do this on my own.
The main thing for that, why that came, is what I saw very early, that different work processes that they did could be done much better, much more efficient. They would save money, everything would be much faster, and the employees would be much happier. But I had no saying. There was no interest in listening to what a newbie have to say or how he see it. And I just felt like I'm not going to waste my time and which is my life, for something that I feel like it could be done different. I'm not saying that my way is the highway, that's the only thing that's right, but I wanted to be able to adjust. I wanted to able to put my ideas into something that I can use and work with and try things out. And I just realized that most companies doesn't allow you to do that. They have their structure, they have just everything is the way it is, and you kind of come in and follow the rules. And I just didn't want to be in that position, because like I said, my ideas weren't different, and I'm just maybe also a little bit the risk taker. I have an idea, I see something, I feel something, and I just do it. And that's the main thing why I decided to, or felt like I need to have my own business.
Yeah. At which point did you come to the States, or you've been here for quite some time, or when did you decide to come to the States, and how did that help in your career?
It was actually the last 10-12 years. I came back in and out, like with a normal visa, and I actually got my green card just like a month ago, 3 weeks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it was my girlfriend. We went in and out. I did some international work and speaking and stuff, and then I just, because of COVID, actually, we decided, okay, we need to make some decisions, because it looks like it may going to be hard to travel in the future. Me being a speaker, Switzerland, it's a very small country. Even if I want to go to Germany, Austria, like Italy and all these around countries, it's going to be hard if I'm not allowed to travel. And in the US, the way we have our relationship and everything, we just thought like, okay, let's apply for the green card, and here I am.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So talking about all of this, obviously you're an author, you're a speaker, you have this program called the Healthy Millionaire Mentoring Program, helping businessmen really get up to the next level. And you've built a lot of businesses and been successful. Except at the same time, tell me about this, because again, if people seeing you from that surface, they're like, wow, Pascal is very successful, he has everything, yet you had to overcome an 8-figure bankruptcy and rebuild from scratch. Tell me about that experience, because a lot of times people don't see that yeah, you might have it all, you might lose it all, and you have to start all over again, and that is the life of being your own boss. It reminds me of Walt Disney. He filed bankruptcy 7 times in his lifetime, yet look at where Disneyland is now, right? So tell me about that experience.
One of the main thing that I not just realize is very important, but actually live it a few times, is what I'm teaching today. And especially young or starters, they don't have to be young entrepreneurs who have an idea. they have that business idea, they have that passion for something, they have this desire to solve a problem or whatever it is for them. So they decide to start a business. And this is what I did. What I didn't realize or even think of, that one business idea is just a very tiny little part of what's going to happen in the future to make that business work. The other 90%, like having a room, the internet, the insurance, employees, freelancers, bookkeeping, like all those things that comes with the business that you have to do, I didn't think about that. I just had my idea and my passion in my head. And as I went and go, I realized I need employees, I need a team in order to grow. And this is what I did. And then I went into a few contracts with some partners that I had. And the reason why actually the business bankruptcy came was one of my main investors and partners there died. And that changed pretty much everything. And I realized, okay, you didn't do what you're supposed to do in a case that like that, but that's what you're not thinking of, right? Someone dying. But I learned a lot, and when all that stuff came, I went through everything I did in the past, and that's what I realized. I really focus most of the time only on my passion and didn't know anything about business. I thought, like, you have a passion, you do what you love, and it's gonna work out somehow. But there's so much coming with that. Mm-hmm. And it's not just the business part, it's even like other things, like I call it the core four, which you have to just be aware that your body is the business. It's about health, it's about body. That's so important. Body, nutrition, exercise, wellness, it's part of your business, because you need to create that healthy vehicle that is able to execute every single day on a 100% level. How do you do that? You need to make sure you're healthy, right? You need to eat healthy, you need to go exercise, do whatever. Then the second thing is what you said in the beginning, it's the mindset. How do you develop that mindset? To have a passion and a love for something is not enough. What is your true purpose? Do you really know who you are, your identity? What mission do you have? Like, what vision do you have? Are you in line with who you are and what you do every single day? Otherwise, you create a subconscious disbalance that's going to affect you. And then the third one is harmony. How much harmony do you have? Like, love. Do you love what you do? What relationships do you have with yourself, with your creator, with your clients, with your family members? How much fun does that business give you? Like, all that stuff is so important. And then it comes to business. I call it, like, for me, it's like health, mind, harmony, and wealth. Wealth is all related to business, because if you are healthy, if you have a clear purpose, a vision, if you know what you do, if you have harmony in your life, then you can have the impact that you want to have in business. Because of that impact, you're going to have the success. And because of the success, it can lead to financial freedom. So, but there's so much that I never thought about, because I just run behind having success, wealth, influence, money, houses, cars, and all that stuff. And it fell apart because I didn't build that foundation, that stable foundation that you need in order to have long-term success.
Yeah. Going through that experience now, how would you define success now?
Success for me, I define success, wealth, abundance, like all that has a very similar approach for me. Success for me is if I am able to do anything I want, with whoever I want, wherever I want, and whenever I want, then I'm successful. Because success for me is about life. Also, when we talk about life and business and life balance and all that stuff. I don't believe in that. I believe in one thing: life. It's all your life. Business is just a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we need the balance in life with everything, with all areas. And that's why that's how I define success.
Yeah. And even going further into that, sometimes you might have a good business, yet people are not happy, right? And they're not enjoying their life. And so it really comes back to that. You had to do this a second time, and I don't know if it was prior to this or not. You have to rebuild yourself a second time, as you were a top professional athlete, and then you got pretty much injured, which ended your career. And so it's like you're rebuilding yourself again. What is your message, with the people you're coaching or people that are listening to us, where you're playing at a very high level, you something happens, in this case, you ended your career, your athletic career, due to an accident, and then you lost it all in bankruptcy. You fell down a couple of times, and yet you got up and did it again. Why? And what is that passion? How? And what is your message to that?
Mm-hmm. My message to that is to really, really know, like, the three things. Who are you? That's a very essential question in life. I mean, if you don't know who you are and why you are here, then it seems like you're an accident. Just to be, we all have a reason to be here, and to know who I am, what talents did I get, who am I truly, not what anybody tells me I am or other people believe that I am, but who am I really, and to have a vision. It's like a GPS. If you don't know where you're going and why you're going there, why do we move? Life is not interesting to just go day by day. And that's what my message is. Found your vision. Find out, why are you here? What is my reason to be on this earth, on this planet? What is the value that I can give and contribute to this world? Because this is the reason why you stand up again after you get knocked down. Because to get knocked down, to lose whatever you built, is never if the vision is big enough, no failure gonna be strong enough to keep you down, because you're gonna go again after a phase of reflecting and say, okay, that's happening, but my vision stays, doesn't matter what's happening. And to have those two things, and then of course making sure to be on mission with what we do, say, and think every single day. But that's my main thing. I believe that's so important, especially also for young people, to really find out, why am I here, and am I doing what I need to do in order to reach my goals. And I experienced that with so many entrepreneurs or even established companies, that they lose that part. They want advice, they want growth, and when they hire me for consulting, that's the first thing I'm going in. What are your values? What is the vision, the business vision? And make sure if these individuals who try to reach the vision of the business have the values that they need, and that everything is in line. And so often that's not the case.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Pascal, if people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Excuse me?
If people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Under pascalbachmann.com.
Okay, awesome. And so you have how many books do you have? You have one book or multiple books?
2 books in German, but right now I believe September or October, 2 of my books, it's a trilogy, will be published. The first one is Irresponsible Society. The second one is Health and Wealth, Can You Have It All? And then the third one gonna be published summer 2022, How to Have It All. So it's a trilogy because I believe it needs time to process how society works in order to understand them and myself, and to see and learn where I can make a difference.
Yeah. And the inspiration of writing books, is that part of, just being able to get to more people, or what was the reason behind you writing books?
Actually, two reasons. To reach more people is, of course, one, but another one is to really, I try to make that impact. And, even like in the US, politics is a big thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember Trump or Biden, like all that stuff. People are so judgmental and finger pointing. It's everybody's fault. Or back then it was Obamacare, or it's always someone, it's always something. But how about turning ourselves into the mirror and start with ourselves? Just like Michael Jackson saying, the man in the mirror. It's us, it's the society. That's why I call it irresponsible society. And I just want to make that impact and explain or awaken some of the society's people or my readers to realize, okay, maybe I really should start with me. It's me. I make the difference. And if I start with me, I have an impact, because everything we do, everything we think, everything we say is energy. It's all a frequency. And even when we think, that stuff is out there, and it makes a difference on how we think and what we say, and to judge just doesn't help. So my reason, the main reason, were really to wake up my readers and make them realize, okay, maybe I really should think about that and focus on my life, on my areas of life, and start with me instead of caring too much for everybody else around me.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love that. I love that. People that you work with, how did they, besides your website, do you work with individuals? Do you work with organizations? How can they start working with you?
I work with organizations and individuals. And right now, this year, I decided to work with 20 entrepreneurs personally, myself, and just go with them through the core forum, make sure that the business foundation is built stable so that they can build on that and whatever they want and have long-term success. And that's all on my website under, I believe, one-on-one coaching, or companies can hire me to speak about these topics. And but that's what I decided to do for this year, is to actually do it one more time, to work with individuals and make sure that they build not just the business that they are passionate about, but that they can succeed. Because statistics, I believe in the US, it's all around the world, it's pretty much similar. So many startups fail after 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. After 10 years, I believe 80% of all the businesses are gone.
Wow.
And why is that? Most of the time, it is the foundation. Even if someone is 2, 3, 4 years in business, they should go back and make sure that the foundation, and the foundation for me is life. How do you implement life into your business? Because it should be the other way around. You implement business into your life. So how do you merge? How do you structure that? For example, myself, relationship. I have Saturday afternoon in my agenda, 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock. It's an appointment that calls Date with Sass, which is my partner.
Mm-hmm.
I make sure we spend enough time. I have 1 hour in the week per week where call friends. I just catch up with my friends because we get lost in doing business so much, or we don't have time for our hobbies, or we think we don't need to sleep enough anymore because business is more important. And you know, or the first thing, for example, that I put in the agenda is always with everybody: when is your free time? When are you do your hobbies? And when do you have vacation? Because again, without you being healthy, you won't make it far.
Right.
And so all this stuff, but that's what I want to, I really like to do to help entrepreneurs to fix that or structure that in a way that they succeed. Because if someone have the passion and really provides value, the world need to see that. And it's just sad if they run out of money or have health problems or the relationship falls apart just because they didn't include that into their daily routines.
Yeah, definitely. And I have 2 last questions talking about daily routines. What are your daily habits? Like, what are the things you do every day that they're definitely a must do to help you stay in this positive mindset and just kind of, take over the day?
Yeah. What I do every single day, I get up like about 5:30, 5:30, and then I have 2 hours. I call it MMR. It's my morning rituals. Mm-hmm. And what I do is meditate, appreciate, love, move, and learn. I meditate for 15, 20 minutes. I appreciate, it's kind of like a prayer. I appreciate and go through things that I really, truly appreciate, and I make myself aware of that. Then I move my body, I work out. Sometimes it's a walk. Sometimes it's going to the gym, depends to how I feel. And I learn. When I walk, for example, I go an hour and read or listen to a book. Or when I go to the gym, I come back and learn something. Can be anything like memory training, speed reading, stuff like that. But that's something I do every single day because I just believe we all need the me time. Another thing that I do is I don't turn on my phone until I'm done with the me time, and I turn off my phone in the evening around 7, 8 o'clock. Even though if I sometimes work way longer, I just turn off the phone, don't read emails anymore, to not be in the situation of living a life of reaction. Because that's what sadly so many teenagers or young people do. They live a life of reaction instead of being proactive and live the life that they want to live and they deserve to live.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. That's definitely, I like your MMR. Definitely, there's a lot of value to that. And obviously, whoever's listening, either use some of this or, create something. At the end of the day, create a habit, create something that you're doing every day where you're committed and you're creating that discipline, which is definitely going to help you in many different aspects. My last question for you is, for the people that are listening to us, if they are going through any challenge, whatever challenge that might be, what is one thing or several things they can do to start overcoming that challenge?
That's a good question, because challenges can be anything, right? Can be a business challenge, can be anxiety, relationship problems, anything. And because there is a big variety of challenges, the one thing, maybe 2 or 3 things I gonna recommend. The one thing that helps me personally, it's always to not react immediately. It doesn't matter what it is. The first thing that rises are emotions, and that emotions triggers usually something in our subconscious mind that has to do with our past. The imprint, the 7 first year of our life, or something that happened in the past, and we connect those things subconsciously and therefore make often wrong conclusions based on the emotions that we feel in the time when we have a challenge. So that's the one thing, to not react right away, but give it some time, even if it's hard. And then the second thing from there is to really analyze the situation, not from my perspective, but from the whole. If I would be in a helicopter, look down, see the whole situation, try to understand the other person, try to understand the situation. Can be COVID, can be a business, can be a death, if some family members die, can be whatever, to really go one step behind and look at the situation and say, okay, what does that teach me? Because there's a teaching in anything. We don't realize that today, but we will in the future if we are open to it. So the first two things, really take distance, don't get into your emotions, and then look at the situation from a different perspective. Try to understand the other person, try to find out what this situation may teach me, and then to be brave enough to make a decision. And that's something that many people struggle with, to make decisions. They feel what they should do, but they question themselves. They doubt themselves. They go ask other people, which is, by the way, a big mistake most of the time, because other people are not able to feel what I feel, and they didn't experience life the way I did. So the recommendation I get from other people is based on their experience and their past and their life, which has nothing to do with me. It's just an idea that I can listen to, but not. So many people don't want to do the decision, take the responsibility, and go ask other people in order to make their decision. And that's mostly not a wise thing to do. To really think, listen, feel yourself, and be brave enough to make a decision, whatever it is, to close a business, to end a relationship, to going to counseling, to whatever it is, to be brave enough to make a decision, because only decisions brings us to the next step.
Yeah, no, I definitely love that. And I definitely love the idea of be brave enough to make a decision. And sometimes I know we tend to not make the decision because we're so afraid, not so much on the decision, we're so afraid of the aftermath, what's going to happen after that, and the consequences. And because of that, we decide not to make that decision. So I definitely love that. That's pretty awesome. Pascal, I really had a really great time with you today. Anything else you want to say before I let you go?
Yeah, something to what you just said. They think what could maybe happen. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's super important to understand. Everything that happened in the past and everything that happen may in the future is not real. It's not in the reality. The only time that happen is right now. And if we base our life on what maybe happen in the future, or if we live with the emotions from the past, that's called insanity, because it has nothing to do with how my life is right now today. So I think that's a very important thing. And for the rest, I just thank you for having me. Wish everybody all the best. Stay strong, stay healthy, and live your passion.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. I love that. So be present now, guys. Pascal, thank you again for being here at the show. I really appreciate you being here today. And for the rest of you guys, do me a favor. Make sure you check him out. Go to his website. Share this message. Somebody needs to hear this message. And stay tuned for the next episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. Goodbye.
Hi, I'm Cesar Espino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything, Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you've tuned into this podcast. You can find me at your favorite podcast platform where you can like, subscribe, comment, and share. And to learn more about myself, my services, you can find me at www.cesarrespino.com, or you can also find me at your social media. Thanks for joining me, and I am looking forward to having you at the next episode. And know you truly can overcome anything.